Is one-to-one personal training dead? This also applies to semi-private coaching. If you work with 1 to 3, 1 to 4, whatever the number is, I want to have a really good quality conversation about the matter. Safe to say, 2020 has been crazy. 2020 basically killed in-person training. You may have had the opportunity to do a little bit of training earlier on in the year from January right through to March, but since lockdown and the periodic lockdowns that have happened ever since, it's safe to say one-to-one personal training or any in-person coaching is an unpredictable way to run a fitness business. Now, I've got a couple of really important notes here that I want to go through. And I really want you to pay attention if you are a one-to-one personal trainer. If you're an online coach and you've currently got something up and running and set up, it's important that you understand the landscape. I think as a fitness entrepreneur, one of the best things that you can have is awareness of what's going on in the industry. Where are the blind spots? Where are the volatilities? And knowing how to exploit those. And exploit is not a bad word. It's basically utilizing it to your advantage so that you can serve people. So this particular episode is going to be useful for everyone that is in the fitness space. So like I said, 2020 pretty much killed one-to-one personal training. And it likely will for the next year to 2 years. Safe to say, lockdowns are going to be on and off. I'm in Northern Ireland here, and we're just experiencing our second lockdown. A lot of hospitality has been shut down for the next 4 to 6 weeks. The reality is everybody's back inside again. Gyms are one of those places where people are sort of scared to go. People are coming in masks. Some people aren't wearing masks. Safe to say there's a lot of uncertainty about it. And you can understand it, right? Because the information is very mixed. The media is providing mixed stories. You've got people in your own local street, your own local community coming in with their own scare tactics and all this kind of stuff and their misinformation. And it's just basically a sea of noise. And it's very hard to actually determine the truth. You know, some of the stats don't add up. There's a lot of conspiracy theories going around. And then at the same time too, you've got the likes of your parents and older people that are worried about it. And you've got a deep rooted concern that you might pass something on and affect a family member. So you've got to realize that people are looking at this through different lenses. There's a lot of noise. People's liberties are at stake. Rules and guidelines are changing all the time. And safe to say, it's no man's land. So if you're a business owner, there's a lot of uncertainty in that. If you're a consumer, there's also a lot of uncertainty in that as well. Just look at some of the programs that are out there. I've seen a couple of local programs where, TV personalities are chasing people in shops for not wearing a mask and just really putting people off. So guys, you got to realize that there's a lot of uncertainty, in the marketplace. These are your customers. These are your clientele. These are everyday members of the public. So like I said, 2020 killed personal training. It's likely going to be a really uneasy ride for the next 1 to 2 years while this whole thing is getting figured out. I know that's horrible to hear, but we need to adapt to the new norm. I cannot stress that enough. On top of that, a lot of you will have realized that the only solution to this is to pivot your services online. But at the same time too, you might not be savvy with tech. You just might not like the whole online thing. You might not know where to start. And the reality is you can't really see yourself running a business that way. Here's the thing about personal training and coaching and gyms and everything. You're either one of those guys or girls that absolutely loves working with people in real life. You love meeting them. You love the community. You love people watching. You love being in the gym and you just love the grit. I was one of those personal trainers. Or you're one of those people that can't stand the gym floor. You hate the hours. You just don't like it. Or you're a mixture of both. Okay? So let's look at a couple of principles here that are important. And what I want to really express is my answer and my opinion. Is one-to-one personal training dead? Is in-person coaching dead? Here's the reality. In the short term, next 1 to 2 years, yes. In the long term, no. There is always going to be a need for one-to-one or in-person coaching. I cannot stress that enough. Short term, yes, it's dead. That is factual. That is not my opinion. That is factual. Look at the facts. There are periodic lockdowns happening throughout the world. Gyms are closing down left, right, and center, i.e. the base where personal trainers run their business from. Big commercial places, small private places. Clients, consumers, members of the public are scared to go and train in public places, more so than they ever were before. So we need to understand as business owners that this is the new climate. So what I want you to realize here is that you need to adapt fast. And I've noted down 3 things that I personally feel are going to be really important to keep in mind and also action in order to maintain cash flow to allow you to get through this. Now, if you're an online coach already, you probably have some of these things in place. If you're an in-person trainer or a gym owner, you must have these things in place. So it's important to listen to them from the perspective of identifying what have I not got in place to be able to do it. And if you're an online coach and you're already doing this, it's important to hear, oh, I'm already doing that. I'm glad I've got that in place. So the first thing, if you are a fitness professional in this current climate, if you want to continue coaching, that is, you must have an online service. You must have an online branch to your coaching. Some of you listening to this already have online or are exclusively all online. That's cool. Some of you that are listening to this are big gym owners, private gym owners, one-to-one personal trainers, and safe to say a lot of the online coaches listening to this started there, right? So what I want you to realize is that when it comes to your online coaching service, you need to really get clear on a couple of things. Who is your niche? Who do you want to be a hero to? What type of people do you help transform? Who do you take from worst to first? You must be really clear on that. Number 2 is your offer. Cannot stress this enough. What is the mechanism? What is the system that you deliver your value? An offer is basically, hey, if you follow through with this system, this offer, it's going to take you from X to Y. It's going to take you from A to Z, whatever the problem situation is, the current state, to the desired state. That is all an offer is. It's a mechanism for moving. And that mechanism is made up of various different components, okay? And some really important things about your offer. Again, it has to match the need of the niche. It has to have a name. It has to have a timeline. It has to have a price point. And most importantly, it has to have deliverables. And that's something that we focus on exclusively. So how is your offer delivered? Just think in your head, if I was to sell somebody into one of my programs right now, which is again the same as an offer, how do I take them from the current state to the desired state? How long is it? What happens let's just say it's 12 weeks. What happens in the 12 weeks? How do I touch point? How do I deliver? How do I check in? How do I support? How do I plan? How do I keep them accountable? All of these things, because you got to realize that your offer is an alchemy of different components that make a result. Okay. So when that mix of different elements that you've pre-thought occur over a period of time, the client transforms. Simple as that. All right. On top of that as well, we want to have one platform that we're really good at. For some of you guys, it might be Instagram. For some of you, it might be your personal Facebook page. I really feel that you should focus on one platform. One platform that you know that you're listening to, you've got a decent following on, you like the format, you like the way it's presented, you can be yourself on it, and you focus exclusively on one platform. And you repurpose the content on another platform later on, just as another microphone to speak to the people on that other platform. Okay, so one platform. For most of you in the online coaching world, it's probably going to be Instagram. For a lot of you in the personal training world, it's probably going to be Facebook. I can tell you right now that the majority of your business is probably going to come from your personal Facebook page, because you've got the ability to add people, you've got more visibility on it than a business page. On Instagram, Instagram's great. And again, it really depends on your niche. You know, if you're working with 20-something-year-olds or if you're working with busy professionals, you know, busy professionals are more likely going to be on Facebook, right, than they are on Instagram. They're more likely going to browse their newsfeed. And that's where you can put up good value stuff. You can put up social proof and all of these bits and pieces to capture their attention and bring them into your world, nurture them, and then put out a call to action to get them to raise their hand. The reality is, if you're putting out great content on one platform and it's really focused, you can then repurpose it later just to get a double-edged sword off that content. You've got other things like LinkedIn. Again, it really depends on the niche. I think LinkedIn, to be honest, has turned more into sort of just spamming central. And you just end up usually chatting with somebody's VA who's trying to just sell you something. So, you know, Facebook, pretty much everyone has, everyone's familiar with it. It's the foundation place where people will go. All right. And, what is the difference between the platforms? I mean, the reality is you're sharing good value stuff. You're teaching people insights into your philosophy. You're sharing social proof, and you're also sharing connection material that ultimately represents who you are as an individual and what you believe about the world, your insights, your own personal story. All that, again, is like alchemy between the three components to allow people to build a connection with you, to build trust with you, and over time want to do business with you. All right. You got to realize that when you've got a platform dialed in, you're consistent on it, people will consume that material over time and their trust will build and build and build up to a threshold. And then when you put out the necessary call to action, it's time to act. And that's why consistency is so important. Number two, actually, just before I go into number two, all of that stuff that I've just gone through, niche, getting really clear on it, offer, getting really clear on it, the name, the price, and the deliverables, and the platform, getting really dialed in on that. Give yourself 1 good year to build that. Give yourself 1 good year. We've had gym owners, we've had personal trainers join Authority Network and my new fitness business growth kit, which I'll be talking about very, very, very soon. Literally join our programs and take their in-person business online. And in that short period of time, they've been able to actually earn more than what they were doing in person without the actual fulfillment of turning up on the gym floor, being there, managing a team. We have actually helped, I would say, in the last, 4 to 5 months since the whole lockdown kicked off, we have helped over 25 gym owners close their gyms and take their business online. They're fed up with the team. They're fed up with the low profit margins. They're fed up with turning up every day. They're fed up with bricks and mortar, rates, rents, and they've just decided, you know what? I want to work from home or I want to travel, albeit not now, but later on. I want to spend some more time with the family. And we've built their offer, priced it accordingly, and they've smashed it. And same goes for personal trainers. Some personal trainers have literally been working 30, 40, 50, 60 hours plus. And lockdown has given them an opportunity to go, hey, stop for a moment. Let's pivot my services, go online, and let's look at getting our freedom back. Because the reality is your business should be about a couple of things: profit, impact, happiness, and your ability to enjoy the whole thing, and freedom as well. Second thing, you must be able to sell over the phone. Reality is face-to-face conversations are not going to be as frequent right now. So the ability to sell over the phone is important. So if you don't know how to sell, you got to learn how to sell. You got to learn how to articulate your offer. You got to embrace marketing and sales, and you got to be comfortable doing that over a phone call or over a Zoom. You know what it's like when you DM somebody price, they ghost you, right? So you should be focused on getting people on a call, right, to determine whether they're a good fit for your program. And if they are, close them in. And number three, cut the fat and build the muscle. That's something that you're really going to need to focus on over the next 1.5 to 2 years. It's something that you should be always focused on. But just think, what is the fat in your life? The fat is negative relationships, crappy people, people that don't look after you, don't respect you, crappy clients, destructive habits, drug habits, alcohol, things that slow you back. What is the muscle? Muscle is things like masterminds. It's reading, investing in yourself, taking action despite being ready, implementing your new price point, implementing your new online business, setting targets. Muscle is everything behind your business that's like pushing it to grow. So ask yourself right now, and just off the top of your head, do you have more muscle or do you have more fat? Who is the muscle behind your business? If you don't have accountability, if you don't have support, if you don't have an expert peer group to go to or a mentor or anything like that, you're on your own. And complete transparency, if you're not in that environment, how are you going to level up? How do you expect to grow? If you don't have a coach, you don't believe in coaching, yet you're the very person selling coaching. I run into a lot of fitness entrepreneurs that want to go and make the 100K, 120K, 150K, and they're scared to invest in their business. Good luck. The reality is you need outside help. You need to be able to identify blind spots, volatilities, strengthen them, and build them, right? Just think about your education with your personal training. Your results right now, your client base right now is a result of all the information that you've consumed and implemented. And the reality is whoever has not necessarily consumed the most, but whoever has implemented the most wins. Whoever has implemented, learned, and taken the lessons and the wins and refined that into structure has won. All right. So that's just a couple of really, really cool points that I want to share with you. I hope you find them useful. And look, if you want to add some muscle to your fitness business this year, towards the end of Q4, to come in and work with us privately and really strengthen your infrastructure, your marketing, and your sales so you can set yourself up for a massive 2021, please simply reach out, click the links below this podcast, or drop me a DM on Instagram with the word 2021, and we'll connect you with the client relation team and get you sorted. Take care and see you on the next podcast.